The pre-built power station versus the DIY battery bank debate is getting to the point of the Ford versus Chevy debate or the Glock versus SIG debate. Everyone has their opinion, and they also have a good case to make for whichever side they choose. It used to be really a no-brainer, though. Power stations used to be a whole lot more expensive. It was much cheaper to build your own battery bank just a few years ago. Even 2023, a Jackery was over $1,000. But that's not really the case anymore. And today I want to break down piece by piece and show you the actual cost of a DIY build. I've got 4 different builds that I did, and I actually calculated the cost of each component. And then I'm going to compare them to a few different known power station brands and see which ones really are the cheapest, the DIY builds or the power station. Now, cost is only one factor when you're trying to decide which option to choose. So I'll dig into a few of the other factors as well that you need to think about. And then by the end of this video, you'll have a pretty clear idea about which direction you may want to go. Now, I've done a few different DIY builds in the past. I put together a build on a dolly, which was purely just to learn how everything worked, how everything went together. You can watch videos all day long, but nothing really beats getting your hands dirty and doing something and making those mistakes. I also built a toolbox power station, which turned out pretty good, and I wanted to see how that compared to a Jackery 1000. And I'll go over that as well when I compare the prices and the cost breakdown. And my most recent builds are the one I just did in my garage, the one I plan on expanding, and the battery box, the large battery box that I use inside my home. I'm going to break down what I spent on each one of these and give you that realistic cost, the actual cost, not the YouTube BS that you hear all the time about, hey, I built this for $200. Well, no, you didn't. There's a lot of hidden costs that these people don't talk about in their videos. Also, there's a very simple method that's sort of a hybrid approach to all of this, which is much simpler than a full DIY build, and I'll go into that later in the video. All right, so let's go over this breakdown of everything I spent on these different power stations. And before we even get into all the other stuff, what you can see here is the hidden cost that nobody ever talks about, the tools section of my chart. I put, and honestly, this could be even more. Right now, the total cost is $421 of the stuff that I have on here. I've got a bunch of other extra supplies and things I bought here and there. So this is probably closer to $600. But you've got the crimpers you're going to need, and you're going to need probably a couple different kinds. The best one that I found is a hydraulic crimper. Got an MC4 kit, which isn't necessary for the battery bank, but it's for the solar panels. But those are nice to have. You've got wire strippers and lugs and the wire itself, the fuses, all the different extras that you might need before you even get started with these power stations. So while these videos may say I built this power station for $200, no, you didn't. You spent a whole lot more than that. That's just the power station itself. Also, with everything on this spreadsheet here that I have written down, I've got an Amazon list that has all of these products on it. That link is in the description below, and you can click on that, and you'll be able to find everything that I'm talking about here today. So the first one, like I said, the first one I built was my dolly, and the dolly power station was purely to learn how all this stuff works. So I had that $421 to begin with, plus the $750 or so dollars. So you're looking at $1,200 that it cost to put this dolly power station together. The dolly itself was like $80. Then I had the plywood. I've got the Renergy MPPT charge controller, $135. The bus bars, the 1,000-watt inverter, and this has got, with one 12-volt battery on it, you're looking at $768. If I was to, put that to 24 volts or even just two 12-volt batteries like I had on there, you're looking at $928 for this setup right here, right in the beginning. So this build right here definitely wasn't cheaper than a pre-built power station, but I did learn a lot from this, and I'm glad I went this route. The next one I did, I wanted to compare with the Jackery 1000 and the Jackery 1000 V2. So I put a toolbox power station together, which turned out really well, actually. Really nice looking toolbox. And I was able to put this together for about $767. And back then, a Jackery version 2 was about $800. So this was pretty close, even with the really expensive Renergy battery. This is a very nice battery, but it's really kind of overpriced. I wouldn't, this was given to me to do a review on. I wouldn't buy one myself. It's just really expensive. But if you were to put just a regular, a cheap battery on here, you're looking at $377 for this little power station, this little toolbox power station that I put together, which is actually a pretty good price considering what your average power station goes for these days. Now this one, the battery is really nice in it, but it's got a PWM charge controller, which isn't the greatest, but it is small. It's only got a 600-watt inverter, and it does have some fans on the side. So a pretty cool power station, but not quite the ability that a Jackery has, although I can switch these parts out and bring it up to that level if I wanted to. The next one I've got on here is my big battery box, and this is one I use inside my house all the time now, and that's exactly why I put this together, is because I wanted to replace the dolly build that I had, which was in my house. It was sort of mobile, but not quite as mobile as I wanted it. This one I put on a furniture skate, and I can move this around. This one sort of compared, I built this to compare it to the EcoFlow Delta Pro 3. It's about the same size, about the same weight, but it can do different things. But this box right here cost me over $1,000. The plywood alone was $55. You got the hinges. I've got a Victron charge controller on this one, which in my opinion is better than the Renergy. I really like Victron products. I've got a 280 amp hour battery in this, which is the big one. This is the $459. This is the big cost difference compared to the 100 amp hour batteries. And even this one is cheaper than that Renergy battery. And then I also put higher quality components on this, the Blue Sea bus bars and the on-off switch. Blue Sea makes really great components for fuses and everything like that. So I'm going more towards that. I also put a battery monitor on this and a few different ports. The Anderson SB50s, so I can, it's a quick connect into the solar and a quick connect, so I don't have to have that inverter plugged in all the time. I can have that inverter set aside, and when I need it, I can plug it in. So this one was, it was sort of expensive, but it really is a good setup. And honestly, it was cheaper than the EcoFlow, but there are a few little differences. And then finally here, I've got my garage wall build, and this one I'm putting this together for expansion. This is basically the bare bones version of what I plan on doing in the future. I want to have this be to where I can power my transfer switch. Right now, I use my EcoFlow to power the transfer switch. I want to upgrade this to the point where it will power 240, and I've got enough energy that I can keep that running for a day or 2 days. That is a lot of upgrading. That means maybe low frequency inverters or micro inverters. That means a more permanent spot for my solar panels rather than on top of my chicken coop, and more solar panels, maybe on my roof. All of those things. But that is the plan with this. This garage build was about $800. And when you factor in, this is what the components cost, but when you factor in the fact that a lot of these parts are from what I had earlier, it's even less than that. This probably cost me, you know, a few $100 for the battery, which Temgo batteries, I really like that battery, and it's a lot cheaper than the LiPo batteries in my battery box, but that's the main part. Everything, the Renergy I took from the dolly, the bus bars, the fuses, a lot of things I took straight from the dolly build that I took apart and used it for here. So you can see as you do more of these, or you upgrade and you get all these parts, it becomes cheaper because you already have that stuff. But to start out, it's definitely not cheaper. All right, so now that we've got the costs of all of these different DIY builds figured out, I'm going to compare that to some of these power stations, and I've got a few pretty popular ones. The first one, like I said, that battery box I did, comparing it to this Explorer V2. The Explorer version 1 was just a few years ago, it was $800, and that's not even an LFP battery. That's regular lithium ion. Right now, on their website, for some reason, this says $799. But over at Amazon, you can get these for $4.29. So with the prices coming down so much with these power stations, this $4.29 right here is a lot less than the toolbox power station that I have, unless you take out this Renogy battery and you put a regular $160, $200 battery in there, and then you're looking at about that $400 price range. But again, you've got to factor in your upfront, those hidden costs, the tools and things like that. But this one is just about the same as a DIY build. And then you've got the EcoFlow Delta Pro 3, and this is my favorite power station that I have. It can do quite a few different things. And when I built my big battery box together, this was what I was trying to go for. And I put my battery box together for around $1,000, which is $1,000 less than the EcoFlow, but the EcoFlow has the ability to do 240, so I can plug that into my transfer switch and power my sub panel. This battery box doesn't have that ability. Like I said, my garage wall, I plan on doing that, but this battery box doesn't have that ability. The EcoFlows also have a lot of different options on the power stations. And, some of those you'll need, some of them you won't. What I can do with my battery box is if I need those, I can add those in the future. So the larger, this kind of shows you here is that the larger the power station, the larger your DIY build, the more savings you're going to get, especially if you get up above, maybe 10 kilowatts and even larger, those off-grid type systems. It's definitely going to save you more money than going with all EcoFlow products with the extra batteries and spending thousands and thousands of dollars on those. And another popular budget model, and one that I like quite a bit, is the AFRY, which is 2,000 watt hours. So it's sort of double the size of the battery box that I did, and a little bit smaller than my big battery box. And this is a pretty popular power station for a lot of people. But you can see the Dolly build was right around the same price, but if you add another LifePO4 battery to get up to that 2,000 watt hours, you're looking at close to $1,000. So this AFRY, these lower cost models, could be a pretty good cost savings. But again, it's not the be all end all about, what you should decide, a DIY build or a power station. All right. So with all that being said, which one is the best option for you? And with DIY, why DIY might be a good option is because while it's not necessarily cheaper, the larger you go, it can be cheaper. But it's scalable, meaning you buy a power station and you're stuck with that power station. If it's 2,000 watts, you have 2,000 watts. You can get extra batteries and things like that on some of them, but most of the time you're stuck with that. With a DIY system, you can scale that. If you've got a couple LifePO4 batteries, a couple 12-volt batteries, maybe you want 24 volts or 48 volts, or maybe you want to increase the capacity that you have. Maybe you want a better inverter or, different fuses and things like that. You can do that. You can also fix things when they break in a DIY setup. If the fuse blows in a power station, that power station may be hosed. If the inverter in that breaks, it may be hosed. On a DIY setup, you can change that part out and it'll be just fine. Where the pre-built power stations win are their basic simplicity and their portability. Everything's integrated. It's nice and neat. You can move it around wherever you want. I love having the Jackery where I can just take it out to the garden. I used it to put a ground rod in for my solar panels. You can bring it everywhere really easily, whereas one of these DIY systems that, the battery boxes, it's not quite as simple. You've also got some of them are UL listed, and so the safety features and the warranties are better. Although with a warranty is only as good as the company. And the safety of some of these power stations, especially the lower cost ones, it's inside there, so you're not real sure. You're hoping that it should be really safe and really well put together. But sometimes you never know. I've seen some videos from Will Prowse about, even Battleborn, which are really expensive batteries, just put together really unsafely. So you just never know. So as you can see, it really depends on you and your situation, which one you want. I personally like having both of them. I like having a smaller power station that I can use anywhere around the house, around the property, whenever I want. Even in a power outage or something like that, it's really nice and easy to move around. But I also like the DIY build because that gives me more options to expand, and it gives me more options to replace things. Leave a comment below and let me know what you actually do in a situation like this, or what you plan on doing, or even if you just don't plan on, if you plan on doing nothing at all, you just get a little power station and that's all you're going to get. Leave a comment in the comment section below. But for someone building a home backup or even an off-grid cabin type situation, a setup that's, 10, 20 kilowatts worth of energy, kilowatt hours, it's probably better going for DIY systems because you can either get it professionally done, and that's what they will do, or you can do it yourself, learn about that stuff. It's what I'm going to do. I have a lot of learning to do. That's what my plans are in the future. So it really is up to you how you go about this. And earlier I mentioned that the AFRY that I use, and I mentioned that there's a really sort of a hybrid way to put this stuff together. And with this AFRY, I use this AFRY power station in conjunction with a couple LiFePO4 batteries that are set up in 24 volts. And I can use these LiFePO4 batteries. They get charged by solar. They've got a charge controller on them. And I can plug that into the AFRY solar port, and I can charge that at about 500 watts. So what that does, it's a really simple sort of DIY setup, and I've been using this for over a year now. And it's basically, you take those two batteries, you have the capacity of those two batteries along with the capacity of that AFRY. So you've basically doubled how much energy you have. It's a really cool setup, really easy to use. I did a video on exactly how to do this. You can watch that here. Until next time, everyone, take care and prepare. We will talk to you all later.